time. Hi, fu, e, po ですね。ね。じゃあ、これが全部、これが全部ね、なんか derivatives がついてます。This one, oh, sorry, I'm speaking Japanese. So those derivatives, what they are is basically with the ka sound, you're changing the sound in your throat, ka, to a more throat sound, ga. And so you're making a ga sound. With the sa, you're taking the s sound and you're turning it into a buzzing sound, like we do with z. Okay, so you're turning the, that's when you turn the ka to the ga, sa to the za. Ta, you're going to take it and you're going to make it a D sound. So t, it just comes out, you spit from your like teeth, t, you're turning it into a d. And so I guess you don't spit as much. Okay, that goes to a da sound. And then these, you're taking what's called a breathed one, ha, hi, hu, he, ho, and you're turning it into a labial sound, so with your lips, so ba, bi, bu, be, bo. And then you're turning it to a voice labial, so you're kind of spitting. You ever take like a piece of paper? The difference between, ba and pa is the fact that you're breathing out air. So, ba, the paper doesn't move. Pa, pa, all right, well, you saw it. It moves, right? So you're breathing out air. So this one is the ba, or sorry, the ha, to ba, and then pa to pa. Okay, and so what do we do? Well, we just take, it's not dark enough, we just take these like this, and put these little marks there. And so this becomes ga, gi, gu, ge, go. It's the easiest to remember, right? You're turning ka, ki, ku, ke, ko into a throat voice, ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Does that make sense? Really easy. Okay? Now with these two, there are exceptions. And that's this sound here and this sound here. These three. So we've got ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Let's say it together. Ga, gi, gu, ge, go. Real easy to say, right? So now we move on to this one. Again, we just take two marks and put it by every one. And this turns it to za, ji, z, ze, zo. Right? Now notice this turns to not a Z sound. There's no Z sound, just like there's no C sound in Japanese. There's no breathing out through your middle teeth. It comes out from the side. Shi, right? So the same way Japanese, you go ji, it comes out from the side, not Z that comes out here. Does that make sense? So, za, ji, z, ze, zo. Right, so let's say it together. Za, ji, z, ze, zo. Okay? So the same way here, we just take two. We've got da, ji. This one's weird. It's either du or dzu. I prefer dzu because that's what it sounds like. Z, de, do. This one is extremely rare, as is this one. If you're going to make the zu sound, you're going to use G, or if you're going to make the G sound or the zu sound, you're going to use these two, G or zu, 99% of the time. Okay? Okay, like jitsu, truth, you're going to use this one. Right? Jisai, to be honest, you're going to use this one. The only one that you'll use this one with the G is something like this. Can you guys read what this says? What's this? hana, ji. Do you remember what chi is in Japanese? Chi is blood in Japanese. So nosebleed, right? That's the only time you're really going to use hanaji, because this ji is blood, chi, right? So it switches over to the ji sound. But this is very, very rare to see as the ji sound, but it does exist. In the same way, zu, the zu sound, is very rare using the tsu. The only time you'll see it, maybe if you watch an anime that's like a long series, is it'll say, at the very end, it'll say tsuzuku, which means to be continued. That's probably the only time you'll see the tsu turn to a z, right, sound. It's almost always this one in the su set. The ta set ones are very rare. However, of course, da, de, and do, you'll see them all the time. But you won't see these two very much at all. They're quite rare. Okay, so continuing, we've got ba, bi, bu, be, bo. Ba, bi, bu, be, bo. I forgot to tell you to pronounce these. Let's say these together. Da, ji, same sound. Z, same sound with just a little bit more of a D sound to it. De, do, right? So moving onward, ba, bi, bu, be, bo. And that's just fun to say. Ba, bi, bu, be, bo. Ba, bi, bu, be, bo, right? And then finally, with the circle, pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Right? Pa, pi, pu, pe, po. And that's a fun one to say too. So let's say that together. Pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Right? And so those are the derivatives that you're going to have on your Genko Yoshi, on your practice writing. So those 5 sets. Again, this week's really easy because you're not really learning anything new. In fact, it's going to help you reinforce what you've already learned, except for the a set and the na set, right, which do not have derivatives. Sometimes, and I'll say this right now just for the anime lovers out there, sometimes you will see things like the a with a derivative sign. It's simply there to stress. Like the person going, ah, like that. It's not a real grammatical sign. It doesn't make sense grammatically. It's there just to like show the person screaming. So sometimes you'll see that in anime or manga where they'll do that kind of stuff, and it's just a stress symbol. It doesn't actually mean anything. All right, any questions about this? Okay, do the drip drop.